fiat money is going to die, because we know that from every civilization, never survived. I'm saying that we need to get onto a commodity money, and gold and silver is not a possibility given the technology landscape. So
Right.
therefore, the only way we can secure money is with energy, and we've got Bitcoin, and it's got there's no second best. It's got 15 plus 16 years of head start of adoption. There's not
Mhm.
even a single competitor.
In this thought-provoking interview, Willy Woo explains why fiat money is doomed to fail and why Bitcoin is the only viable solution for the future of global finance. He dives into the flaws of past monetary systems, the risks of a Bitcoin-backed dollar, and why Bitcoin's energy-based security makes it the ultimate form of money. Willy also explores the long-term future of Bitcoin, predicting its potential to reach $5 million per coin as it absorbs global wealth. Stick around until the end to hear why there's no second best and how Bitcoin is set to redefine money as we know it. Also guys, if you like our cryptocurrency content, please remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date. Now, over to Willy.
What would be your ideal vision of how we get on the Bitcoin standard, and how governance would really work? Like, are you someone who believes in sort of the premise of the sovereign individual, where we're not going to have such powerful nation states anymore, and we're going to have more decentralized communities springing up where the individual really truly has like ultimate freedom and sovereignty? Or do you think that nation states are necessary and maybe will function better if Bitcoin is incorporated in the economic system? Like, how do you see that?
I think that the era of nation states being at its height of power is waning. So you just look at the pattern of we've been dominant in nation states since the Industrial Revolution. And then before that, we were in an agrarian age, and what was dominant was kingdoms and empires. And before that, it was tribal, right? And so it seems to me, if you got nation states, that is like kind of the right structure in a very sophisticated industrial economy. When you move to a digital economy like we are now, there are limitations, and the boundaries around a nation state become very porous, right? A digital worker go to any country on a tourist visa, not pay taxes, doesn't need a work permit. There's all these things that don't work, right? Taxation, when you've got global digital workers, doesn't
Yeah.
work. Printing money, when like you talk to the digital nomads, they've been holding and stacking Bitcoin since over a decade because it solved their cross-border problems. And so
Mhm.
when a nation state loses power over printing their money, because that's the people now, where anyone can create their own currency, including Trump with Trump coin, um, the ability to tax, the ability to print money to fund a nation state starts to dissolve, and then you get like where can you fund a nation state? And I think maybe that's like a city state, like Singapore, where people want to be there for a specific reason because the talent's there, and
Mhm.
so you get smaller and smaller sort of agile entities that hold economic power. We still have the royalty, in the UK. That's vestigial organs. I think there's probably going to be a loose national boundary. You've got, intercity, inter-province connectivity and infrastructure you need to do, but the power probably goes to the cities, and maybe a new thing arises. And it'll, yeah. So maybe if you go, well, if the nation states becomes weakened, then that suddenly means fiat and national currencies become weaker and weaker, and these digital currencies, well, really only Bitcoin because everything else is more like an equity. Um, then yeah, that becomes the money, and we're back at the gold standard, but it's not paper backed. We backed paper with gold because we wanted to trade gold, but we didn't have technology to ship gold across the world at the
Yeah.
speed of light, right?
Right.
And so this technology can do that. So you don't need to back paper anymore. Why would you,
Yeah.
do I still like some places I have to like deposit a check. In Hong Kong I have to deposit a check because the government is 30 years behind, right?
Mm.
And it's like that's the idea of paper-backed Bitcoin. I think the technology is way well past that.
Willy Woo lays out a bold vision for Bitcoin's future, predicting that one Satoshi could be worth 5 cents, meaning Bitcoin would reach $5 million per coin. He explains that this isn't just speculation, it's a natural outcome of Bitcoin replacing traditional money. He takes a long-term view, looking back 6,000 years at gold and silver as money, and projecting forward to a world where scarcity can only be secured through energy. Unlike gold, which could become abundant with space mining, Bitcoin's security is tied to energy, a resource that will always remain scarce. Willy argues that fiat money is doomed, just as every paper currency before it has failed. The world needs a new form of commodity money, but gold and silver are no longer viable in the long term given our technological advancements. That leaves only Bitcoin, which has no real competitor. Other cryptocurrencies, like Ethereum, rely on social consensus rather than energy-based security, making them vulnerable in the long run. If Bitcoin becomes the base layer of global money, its total value should match the world's GDP and the combined value of public companies, which is roughly $100 trillion today. That's how Bitcoin reaches $5 million per coin. Willy concludes by saying, "Don't worry about how it gets there. Just follow Bitcoin's adoption curve, and in 15 years or so, the world will look very different."
I saw that you predicted that one Satoshi would be 5 cents, and so $5 million Bitcoin. How do we get there, and what are your concerns as far as like, things that might prevent us from reaching that?
Yeah, I mean that's it. I also said, don't worry about the path to getting there. Look, I think that honestly, we're looking at this long range view, and like my favorite topic to talk about now is the long range view across 6,000 years of gold and silver as money, and where does it go, say 6,000 years to the future? And we're transitioning from using atoms, some atoms with nice properties, gold, silver, that's hard to get more of, into a money backed or constructed from energy. And the fiat thing doesn't count because it's a 50-year liquidity crisis, and we're overing this time, this short time, right? It's not even a human lifetime when we're talking about 6,000 years. So if you go into the future, you cannot, create a scarce commodity, right? Right now, I think we caught the SpaceX rocket booster for the second time. That thing will allow us to mine the solar system. There's no scarcity in gold or silver, absolutely not. And if you're looking 6,000 years in the future, even 50 years in the future, so the only way to secure a scarcity is with energy, because energy is always going to be scarce. Your economy, as it grows more, it's going to eat more energy to produce the stuff we want, and so you've got to share it with the economy, and that means also that energy is scarce for securing the Bitcoin ledger. So that will work. I'm not saying the people say energy will be abundant. Yeah, but we'll use also abundance of the energy as well, and it'll all be consumed. So it'll be in check. So, like, what I'm saying is fiat money is going to die because we know that from every civilization never survived. I'm saying that we need to get onto a commodity money, and gold and silver is not a possibility given the technology landscape. So
Right.
therefore, the only way we can secure money is with energy, and we've got Bitcoin, and it's got there's no second best. It's got 15 plus 16 years of head start of adoption. There's not even a single competitor. Like, what's the next one? It's not Ethereum, that's proof of stake. And it's not geopolitically decentralized. It's not secured by energy. It's secured by like fiat. It's social consensus. Everyone agrees that this thing has value. So the next one is Litecoin, I think. Right. So we've only got Bitcoin. So if you look at if it's going to be the money for the entire economy, then money, all the money in the system equals world GDP and roughly all the value of the publicly listed companies. 100 trillion, 100 trillion, 100 trillion. They've always been relatively in check because you need this amount of money for this amount of trade and this amount of producing businesses. So that today is roughly 100 trillion, and that gives you the 5 cents. So it'll get there, and don't worry about how it's going to get there. But if you look at when it'll get there, you just trace the adoption curve of Bitcoin till it reaches near saturation, and maybe that's 15 years or something like that. That's it. And how it'll fail is if Bitcoin fails.
It sounds similar to what Hal Finney predicted too. I mean, his prediction was, I think, 10 million a coin, right?
Willy Woo makes it clear, Bitcoin isn't just another asset, it's the foundation of a new global financial system. As fiat currencies weaken and traditional institutions scramble to adapt, Bitcoin remains the only truly decentralized, energy-secured form of money. With its adoption accelerating and no real competitors in sight, Bitcoin is poised to reshape economies, create new financial structures, and redefine wealth itself. Whether it's corporations, governments, or individuals, those who understand this shift early will be in the best position for what's ahead. The future is being built right now, and Bitcoin is leading the way. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section below.